Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is the girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of Louis Totally Ting. People, my apologies for starting so late. Lights went up by us and it ain't too long come back. And then, when it come back, you have to reset all your devices and all that. So it took me a little time. So thank you all for your patience. Today's Friday. People, we start this thing one time. We have plenty to talk as usual, but we have a little program we have first, right? Certain things we must get out the way first. Pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
And we must have remembrance of the first people and then all our international, historical, current event matters, right? So let's give a shout out to our first peoples at Trinidad and Tobago. Take a listen to this. This is coming out from FIFA and artist known as Burna Boy. I think he came to Trinidad already. Listen to what he had to say about his appearance at the opening, I guess, of FIFA.
I truly regret participating in this World Cup performance. I truly regret participating in this World Cup performance. Many people don't know that I brought these Ugandan children to the World Cup not just to put on a show, but to give them a chance to be seen by the world. I refused all performance fees, hoping only that these children from impoverished areas could stand on the biggest stage. They didn't have fancy costumes and often danced barefoot, but their passion and talent deserve recognition. During rehearsals, some people thought their appearance wasn't suitable for a top-tier stage like the World Cup. But I insisted they stay authentic because they shouldn't lose opportunities because of their poverty. But during the actual performance, their prepared solo dance was cancelled. What saddened me most was that afterward, they eagerly asked when their families could see their performance. They traveled across the ocean, wanting only for the world to see their dreams. Football should connect everyone. If the World Cup stage ultimately deprives these children of the opportunity to showcase themselves, then I truly regret participating.
We heard Burna Boy there speaking, and it's so sad if that account is accurate. I'm not doubting, but I'm just saying very, very, very sad. I saw this also, and it brought a smile to my face, just as that conversation with Burna Boy brought a frown on the face. This one also brought a upside down. Is that what it's called? It upside down frown is a smile. Anyway, it brought a smile to my face. But I'm really disturbed about what I just heard Burna Boy said. Huh?
She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. I said, don't mind, but what do you mean? I am the one who would dance on the floor in the round. She said, I am the one who would dance on the floor in the round. She told me her name was Billie Jean, and she caused a scene. Then heavy hair turned with the ice cream of being the one who would dance on the floor and around. People always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. And mother always told me, be careful who you love. Be careful what you do. Cause the lie becomes the truth. Hey, you feel a change. That body.
And this one, definitely, I couldn't stop smiling. You all watch this. You know, I love dance, right? That's the space that I feel most comfortable in, dance and drama. So look at this one.
I said a hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop. You don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat, and me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello. Up to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie. Let's rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock. Well, so far you've heard my voice, but I brought two friends along. And next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, Hank, sing that song.
Check it out, I'm the CASN, the OVA, and the rest is FLY. You see, I go by the code of the doctor of the mix.
Listen to me now. Them good. Them good. Them a lot like myself good. I would be on my hands and my knees because I ain't roller skating on none. Nothing unsteady under my feet. That's why I don't like boat and ship and all them back and nothing. But pick up. Woo, woo, woo. We out there doing it too. I saw this artist also. This is from Trinidad, no?
My name is Travis St. George. Liquid art. I use recycled material. You don't need a kadama tree to get canvas to me. I'll take a old window, as you see it, that's what I'm doing. It can be shown on both sides.
So this was an old window.
Yeah. It can be shown on both sides.
I love this.
And you did the painting yourself?
Yeah.
Did you do any restorative work on the window itself? Or
No,
you're leaving it just like
just
that?
clean it up, and you could put it in any part of the house and hang it out. You could hang it off the wall so they could see both sides. Put hinges on it, hinge it onto the wall, and you could flip it.
So part of the art,
Yeah.
part of the design is you see the antique and the
Yes.
deterioration of the window.
I leave the hooks on and all of that.
Oh.
So these are done here on louver glass. These are done on louver glass, right? All recycled louver glasses, and as we say, he upcycles them, and they're two-sided. So you have two and this side you will get all the textures of the paint and stuff, and when they turn it over on this side, you get a more cleaner stained glass kind of effect from on this side. You know.
On the other side,
you see the textures and the brush strokes. You know? Yeah.
We are very creative people. That looks so beautiful. I saw this guy from Tobago, this young guy. I saw on Facebook at time, Eli, I think that's his name. He's a designer for men clothes. And he was offering some competition or something to students or those getting ready for graduation and may not have the clothes, so he was going to outfit them. Just like Mrs. Camille Robinson Regis, MP Camille Robinson Regis, and Ms. Renuka Sabran Singh Suklal, when they also had an initiative where they will ask friends and stuff who have clothing stores and that thing, who had clothes there that has been there forever, and if they can assist young persons who may not have clothes to go to graduation, and they would have outfitted them with shoes and bag and clothes. It was beautiful. So this is something like that, this initiative coming from the actual designer, Ecliffe Eli. And again, big up to Miss Camille Robinson Regis and Miss Renuka Sabran Singh Suklal. And they continue to do work in the interest of the young person. So let's take a look at the guy from Tobago.
My name is Kirsten Allen. I am 19 years old. I'm from Hammersburg, SDA, and I am the Spotlight on Youth Potential. My first day at Hammond's, when I first entered, everyone was, playful, jolly, because it was around break time I had entered. So everyone was mingling, and I was just very quiet when I entered. I went at the back of the class because I had no friends, and I felt antisocial. I felt like I didn't want to meet any new friends because I had friends at my old school. It changed when a week after, when my male friends started talking to me about football, because we had football, and he asked me where I'm from and stuff, and from there we just kick it. When my mom got the call from Ecliffe, I was in the living room watching TV, watching something I can remember, and hearing her talk on the phone, and then she was like, Kerosene, on the call, giving me some signs that this is the cliff, and I was just confused because I didn't know I was chosen at that time.
Yes, is this kerosene, mommy? I was like, yeah. Well, I'm calling from Ecliffe Eli, saying that kerosene was chosen for, and I was started to jump, and I was like, I did, to be honest, I didn't hear anything else after that. And I got to say, Kerosene, you believe the same man who was watching the Suits? He called. I said that you're wearing a suit. And Kirsten was like, really, mommy? And I was like, yeah.
Trying to stay calm, but inside I was joyful. Making my mom proud made me feel like I just buy her a house, right? Because that is one thing that I want to do for my mom. So how it made me feel. And I just know that this is just our first step to the future. And I started to push you.
Good evening. Congrats, brother. Kerosene, I came to Tobago, especially to take you to your graduation. You ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
Let's go. Let's run this way. Okay, bye-bye. Well, I heard your story, and you're very ambitious, a very helpful guy, very productive. So you lean on the principle, find it fitting that you were the person deserving of the spotlight and the potential.
Going to dinner. I've never won a suit in front of my friends before. I know they're going to be excited to see me in the suit. What's next for me in the future, I hope, is being going to culinary school after graduation to learn more about food, to learn more about how to become a chef or what's needed to become a chef, that I can have my own restaurant and be able to serve food to the community.
And these things do matter. It leaves a big impression on the lives of young persons. You all might feel like small thing, but let me tell you, it matters. And a little more good news, our own Dominic Romain, MP Dominic Romain. And he is seen here. He is a member of parliament for Malabar Mausika, and what he's saying here, he said he's pleased to report that paving of Spring Road, Carapo, has now been completed. Special thanks to Councillor Derek Laguerre for his dedication and commitment to ensuring this project was successfully completed. Together, we remain committed to delivering meaningful improvement for the people we serve. Malabar Mausika, Carapo Spring Road, Community Development Service to the people. So congratulations there to MP Romain. You know, on his program, Facts are Stubborn Thing, he's forever calling out and saying how much time he reached out to the member of parliament and to the minister of local government election, local government, whatever, Minister Khadija Amin, to get those roads up there fixed. And they're saying that she living up there too, she passing the same road with the old hole and all that, and he's always there doing the work for his constituents. So congratulations, MP Dominic Romain, continue to serve your constituents. So that there was some good news. Yeah. So let me remove this and let me continue. People, the confusion continues in Guyana, and it all has to do with the Barima. I think that's the boat that sunk, and scores of persons died, children, whole families, and they want, people are calling for them to bring up the boat so them to see exactly what it is caused it to sink, whether or not it's overload, whether or not it's a mechanical failure, whatever it is. And apparently there seems to be some resistance to that, and people are agitating. So take a listen.
You can't empathize. It's an illegal matter. It's scapegoatism. You can't empathize.
We want a bunch of people who lost families asking why these men walking
fucking super close.
So, political tensions spilled onto the east coast of Demerara on Thursday as opposition supporters staged another protest over the MV Burma tragedy, coinciding with President Ifran Ali's visit to Melanie for consultation under the government Model Village Initiative. The demonstration centered on renewed calls for the accountability in the aftermath of the MV Burma disaster. Protesters also reiterated demands for the resignation of Public Works Minister Juan Edgehill and Minister Deodat Indar, arguing that both should be held politically accountable. The protest became increasingly heated when APNU Member of Parliament Terence Campbell and PPP/C Member of Parliament James Bond, who previously served under the APNU, engaged in a heated verbal exchange. The confrontation quickly escalated into a shouting match, drawing the attention of protesters and onlookers before others intervened to separate the two parliamentarians and prevent the situation from worsening. I wouldn't be surprised if them across here says PNM people went up there. Serious thing. And then go turn it into I'm also seeing here that the Palestinian envoy alarmed at growing TNT Israel tie. Trinidad and Tobago aligning themselves with, I don't know. This was August the 6th in the Express. Palestinian ambassador to CARICOM and Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Linda Sobet Ali, says she's alarmed by growing engagement between Trinidad and Tobago and Israel, but remains confident the government will maintain its support for Palestine. Speaking during a virtual news conference via Zoom yesterday, Sobet Ali responded to the question from journalists about recent diplomatic engagement between Trinidad and Tobago and Israeli officials, including a courtesy call on Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers by Israeli representative last month. Asked whether Palestine was concerned about the strengthening of ties between Trinidad and Tobago and Israel, the ambassador replied, "We are concerned, and I have faith that the Trinidad and Tobago government knows and understands that it's not a conflict, it's an ongoing occupation, it's ongoing genocide, it's ongoing humiliation, it's ongoing land grab, it's ongoing annexation, it's ongoing illegal settlement, it's ongoing burning people alive." Sobet Ali stressed that Palestine respected Trinidad and Tobago's sovereignty and its right to determine its own foreign policy. However, she maintains that her country was closely monitoring Israel's expanding diplomatic presence in the Caribbean. She said Palestine had already established relations with the current administration, noting that although the previous government recognized the state of Palestine in 2024, she presented her credential as the country's first accredited ambassador under the present administration. The ambassador said she had met with President Christine Kangaloo, Sobers, and other government ministers and had continued engaging regional leaders during recent CARICOM meetings in St. Lucia. Despite those engagements, Sobet Ali acknowledged concern over Israel's growing presence in the region. "Are we alarmed to see Israel in the Caribbean? Yes, we are," she said. "Are we alarmed when people send me signs written in Hebrew saying private property? It just brings my brain when we receive them in our country, not in our homes." The ambassador also disclosed that she intends to travel to Trinidad and Tobago to hold face-to-face discussions with government officials following the recent diplomatic developments. She reiterated that Palestine believes Trinidad and Tobago will continue adhering to the international law and does not expect the government to take steps such as opening an embassy in Jerusalem, which Palestine considered occupied territory. Sobet Ali used the press conference to renew calls for greater international support for Palestine, urging Caribbean governments to continue advocating for humanitarian access, civilian protection, and a negotiated two-state solution. She also appealed directly to Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to continue supporting the Palestine cause. Madam Prime Minister, with all due respect, I come to you and I ask you as a mother, as a woman to woman, as a diplomat to diplomat, as a human to human, to continue to advocate for the liberation of Palestine, for the creation of the two-state solution, and for just cause of international law, and for all of Palestine, Sobe Ali said. This government, in my opinion, putting us in a, that's all I could say, We even know the rest of the something, Let me continue. So I'm seeing here also, I'm seeing some director, if you could go onto Facebook, let me see if I could send this thing for you from just a minute. Only give me a minute. I've seen some news here. Only if I can get Lord Father. Okay. It's some news coming to hand. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me treat with this matter here first at hand. This here, Trinidad, a former athlete, Chanel at 18. She represented this country at let me read. I can't remember exactly if it's Carifta game or if it's Pan American Games, but she was unfortunately a Trinidad and Tobago athlete. She died in Jamaica under some tragic circumstances, and this was just on Thursday. The local sporting fraternity is mourning the loss of a national athlete who died after the vehicle in which she was traveling plunged into a river in Jamaica. Chanel Etienne, 31, of Point Fortin, who represented Trinidad and Tobago at several regional and national events, died on Monday after the vehicle ran off the roadway and plunged into the Wagwater River along the Agualata Vale Main Road, St. Mary's. According to a post on Facebook profile, TT Game Plan, Etienne was traveling with 3 other people in a Toyota Corolla at Altis when tragedy struck near the Wagwater Bridge. The vehicle was heading west when its driver lost control while negotiating a left-hand bend and crashed into the river. Published reports indicated that the occupants initially managed to escape from the vehicle. However, Etienne reportedly slipped while trying to make her way to safety and was carried away by the strong current. A resident later retrieved her body from the river. Etienne was taken to the Anoto Bay Hospital where she was pronounced dead. The 3 other occupants received medical treatment and were subsequently discharged. News of her death sent shockwaves through the sporting fraternity, with fellow athletes, sporting organization, and friends and residents of Point Fortin expressing grief and disbelief. Condolence messages have poured in on social media, with many remembering her for her dedication to sport, her accomplishment and pride with which she represented the national colors. Several people also extended sympathy to her relatives, teammates, and friends as they struggled to come to terms with the sudden loss. One of her friends posted, "To know Chanel Etienne was to know laughter. Her presence could light up a room, and her laughter was something you could never forget. She had a way of making people smile and creating memories that will live forever in the hearts of those who knew and loved her." We too at we talk the thing unfiltered and Bounce Up Central, the whole family would like to send condolences to the Etienne family on the loss of their loved one, and that we continue to pray that they would remember not just this tragedy, but also the fun-loving person and dedicated person that she was. Again, condolences to friends and family. I'm also seeing here, give me a minute. When you see and start on your scheduled time, everything that just get thrown. Right, so I'm seeing here, RSF warns media facing growing financial pressure. Reporters Without Borders, RSF is the acronym, a global press freedom organization, is warning that Trinidad and Tobago's independent media sector is facing growing financial pressure as government advertising remains suspended. RSF said the freeze on advertising by ministries and state enterprise announced by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar in May 2025 as part of a cost-cutting exercise is placing further strain on news organizations. The organization's assessment was based in part on interviews with and members of media association who raised concerns about the impact of shrinking newsroom resources on investigative reporting and media accountability. RSF said the loss of a national newspaper and the reduction of newsroom staff at another highlights the fragile state of independent journalism in Trinidad and Tobago. The organization warns that shrinking newsrooms could reduce the ability of journalists to carry out investigative reporting and hold powerful institutions accountable. RSF Executive Director for North America, Clayton Weimers, said independent journalism was already under significant economic strain. Withholding a major source of advertising revenue will have consequences that extends far beyond newsroom balance sheet, Weimers said. The organization is calling on the government to ensure any changes to state advertising are implemented transparently and in consultation with social media stakeholders. Asked whether the government would reconsider the advertising freeze in light of concerns raised by Reporters Without Borders and recent newsroom cuts, Persad-Bissessar did not address the policy impact on media organizations. Instead, she criticized Guardian media leadership and editorial practices, arguing that the company's financial difficulties stem from internal management decisions. The warning comes months after Trinidad and Tobago fell 13 places in the 2026 World Press Freedom Index, compiled by Reporters Without Borders, dropping from 19th to 23rd out of 180 countries. While the country remains among the Caribbean's strongest performers on press freedom, RSF identified economic pressures on news organizations, the influence of political advertising on editorial independence, and online intimidation of journalists amongst the challenges facing the local media landscape. Hey, we're not in a good place, you know. We're not in a good place. Also seeing somebody wrote here, 16 months of smoke and mirrors. Colin J. Partap, attorney. And this is what he had to say. 16 long months since this government swept into office, draped in a manifesto of lofty rhetoric, a solemn vow to vanquish corruption, and the self-anointed title of savior of our economy. 16 months later, what do we, the long-suffering citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, have to show for it? A dizzying carnival of smoke and mirrors, a masterclass in political misdirection, and an economy limping along while the ringmasters take a bow. Consider the most theatrical smokescreen of them all, the legal pursuit of the Hadid family. For weeks, we endured thunderous pronouncements, choreographed spectacle, and the naked weaponization of power, of state power, all staged to make this administration look tough on the so-called elite. Then the curtain fell. The Hadiths were quietly released. A tacit confession that the government's much vaunted case has been built on sand. Was this the pursuit of justice or a cynical and failed attempt to distract the nation while our economic foundations crumble beneath our feet? As the opposition has rightly warned, the message could not be more chilling. Disagree with this administration and you too may find yourself staring down the barrel of a preventative detention order. This is not governance. It is clumsy authoritarian theater staged to conceal the rotten mess of their first 16 months. And so we arrived at the economy. The story this government is desperately trying to bury beneath a mountain of rhetoric. Remember the fiery campaign speeches thundering about $3 billion in corruption under the previous administration? That crusade has gone quieter than a church mouse at a rock concert. Apparently no longer a priority, now that the reins of power are firmly in hand. The battle against corruption, it turns out, was never a governing principle. It was a slogan, a prop, a costume worn for the campaign and quietly hung up on election night. Speaking of silence, let us turn to jobs. We have promised a bonanza. What we got was job losses. The latest labor force survey records a net loss of nearly 6,000 jobs in the first quarter of 2026 alone. The Prime Minister proud's boast of creating over 15,000 jobs ring hollow. Indeed, they ring farcical against that stark and stubborn arithmetic. Instead of meeting this crisis with compassion or a coherent plan, the government has met it with contempt, the termination of CPEP workers and the snaring dismissal of them as mere contractors or grass cutters was a disgraceful display of arrogance towards thousands of citizens whose only offense was showing up to work. It is now painfully clear that the only job creation this government believes in is reserved for the boys, the girls, or both. A naked patronage machine that offers nothing to those without a political card in their back pocket. Meanwhile, the very engine of our economy is stuttering. The IMF projects a 4.5% contraction in the energy sector in 2026. Growth is being dismantled, not delivered. Development loans are being cannibalized to pay salaries. Every signal points in the same grim direction, profound economic mismanagement. This is not opposition's spin. Even the government's own supporters now concede the reality of strained households, shrinking savings, and a looming fiscal reckoning that no amount of press conference, 12 weeks and waiting, bravado can wash or wish away. Then, just as public patience began to fray, came the most cynical smokescreen of all, the weaponization of race. The Prime Minister, rather than standing shoulder to shoulder with the nation at the Emancipation Support Committee flagship event on August the 1st, chose instead to spend the day with her family. Her absence ignited a predictable firestorm, and rather than douse the flames, the government poured petrol on them. The opposition PNM was branded the most hateful, racist, and divisive version of itself, accused of hurling ethnic slurs and targeting Afro-Trinidadians who support the UNC. This is not leadership. This is a calculated descent into the gutter. When a sitting prime minister publicly declares that she eagerly looks forward to round 2 of Boo Kamla and the stinking COLLIE on Independence Day. She is not rising above the fray. She is rolling in it, guaranteeing that racial animosity, not economic recovery, dominates tomorrow's headline. Nor does the poison stop at the Prime Minister's door. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander's pronouncement that Africans have become an endangered species, and Culture Minister Michelle Benjamin called for African communities to stand together and not casual missteps. They are deliberate accelerants, kerosene poured onto a fire. These same ministers cannot and will not extinguish. They serve one purpose: to distract from the unemployment, the stagnation, and the corruption that now defines this administration. So the question stands, and it demands an answer. After 16 months of governance by distraction, after PDOs, the broken promises, the vanishing jobs, the collapsing energy sector, and the cynical weaponization of race, are we better off than we were in April 2025? The answer is a resounding and deeply troubling no. We are worse off, poorer, more afraid, and the only thing this government has successfully manufactured in 16 months is a thick, suffocating smokescreen, one designed not to serve the people, but to hide from them. Again, this was written by Colin J. Pata. I love his use of words, and it brought energy to what he would have said. And we continue. And just in light of what he said there, just listen to our Honorable Prime Minister.
Responding to questions about the Independence Day parade, she went on to say, quote, "That's all the PNM and their supporters care about. Rum drinking, fetting, whining in the road, and getting freeness from the state," end quote.
That is our goodly Prime Minister. So that is why we want independence, the people of African descent, to drink rum, wine in the road, and look for handouts. And Minister Michelle Benjamin and all the others of African descent in the UNC. Let me continue. While that is happening, they went in the parliament, and Vanilla Allen Topping with the blessings of the then Prime Minister, who is Prime Minister now, Canopus Abisesa, and Minister of Energy now, who was Minister of, I think, Housing or something then, with their blessings, Vanilla Allen Topping went to the parliament and put on Hansard that Dr. Rowley father raped his mother, and Dr. Rowley was a child rape, and he became a rapist, angry, and he raped a little girl that he was teaching or something like that. So they started calling him pedophile and rapist and all that, which was erroneous, which was the most nasty thing you could do as a politician to another human being, a colleague especially, at that level that is recorded here. And while all them things going on and whatever, that is not true. So many other things were happening. And look at this, what happened here now. That year, it is said, I saw it on the media thing, and a story by Anna Lisa Paul. $750,000 bail for man accused of sex assault in MP's office. Remember, I read that either Tuesday or probably last week, that the MP for that area to come out and say they send the person on administrative leave or something. So because there was conversation about improper sexual behavior, right? So the suspect at the heart of the sexual incident involving a minor, which reportedly occurred in the office of the Caroni East MP Member of Parliament, Dr. Rashid Sicharan, has been charged with 8 offenses. The suspect was arrested on July 31st by official of the Central Division following investigation by the Special Victim Department, was granted bail in the sum of $750,000 with surety. The matter attracted significant public attention after it was highlighted by the victim's father 2 weeks ago on social media. Following investigation, the accused was charged with 8 offenses under the Children's Act, Chapter 4601, as amended by Act Number 12 of 2012. The charges include 6 counts of sexual touching of a child, 1 count of inciting a child to engage in sexual activity, and 1 count of sexual penetration of a child. The investigation was spearheaded by Deputy Commissioner of Police, Investigation and Intelligence, Natasha George, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Richard Smith, Special Victim Department Head, Superintendent Roger Reyes, and Assistant Superintendent Lee Jones. General supervision was provided by Inspector Nina Rollins of the Special Victims Department, Region 2. The initial report on the incident was made at the Cunupia Police Station on May the 20th, and Sergeant Alison Joseph Guerra of the Special Victims Department, Region 2, was assigned to continue investigation on July 22nd. The investigating officer formally charged the accused with the offenses at the Gasparillo Police Station on Monday, and he appeared before Tracy Vidal at the Shoguna's Master's Court on Tuesday. The charges were laid indictably, and he was not called upon to enter a plea. The accused has been ordered to remain at least 200 feet away from the victim, to refrain from any direct or indirect communication with the victim, and to report to the Shoguna's Police Station every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday between hours 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. However, while the accused has appeared in court, his identity must be withheld. Well, I am now seeing this, so let me take down this. Contacted yesterday. However, while the accused has appeared in court, his identity must be withheld to protect the identity of the victim due to the nature of the alleged crime. Contacted yesterday, an officer close to the case said they remain committed to protecting the nation and ensuring that offenders are brought to justice. We encourage all citizens to remain vigilant and to report any suspected abuse of criminal activity. If you see something, say something, the female officer said. So, that's where we at. Let me continue. Listen to Rambo's here. Before I play Rambo's, let me play this, because Gerald Ramdeen, who is the chairman of National, what should we call them? NGC, National Gas Company, yeah. He is, I don't know why the Minister of Energy is not there, because Gerald Ramdeen is not a minister. Neither is he the Minister of Energy. So if you're talking anything but news coming out of the energy sector, one would expect the minister who has that portfolio to be having this conversation. So I was like, but you all listen to it.
Argon gas, I believe we heard government representatives were heading to Venezuela for discussions. If we could have an update, please.
What I want to say is that within the next 3 to 4 days, the Honourable Prime Minister will make some significant announcements with respect to the energy sector. I have deliberately stayed clear and stayed in my lane, and I know that what I can tell you is this. Within the past 2 months, the National Gas Company, the Ministry of Energy, our international upstream partners have done considerable work to be able to bring benefits to the people of this country. The results of those works are going to be announced by the Honourable Prime Minister. And she's the rightful person to be able, she's our leader, she's our Prime Minister, and the significant announcements that have to be made are rightfully to be made by.
So apparently, according to the chairman of NGC, the one where they cut money for funding for track and field and for steel pan, and they boast about saving so much hundreds of millions of dollars, they're now saying that the Honorable Prime Minister has some exciting news about the energy sector. So we await. Listen to this.
No, you're not imagining things. It is indeed difficult to get a job right now. CSO data shows 12,000 job losses from April to September 2025. Between October and December 2025, there were 569,900 persons gainfully employed. That was in the fourth quarter of 2025. However, just in the first quarter of 2026 alone, that figure has now fallen to 564,000, a difference of 5,900 persons who are now unemployed. Just in the first 3 months of 2026. Another way to look at this is that the last quarter of 2025, there were 25,700 people unemployed. Up to the end of the first quarter of this year, the first 3 months, January, February, March, that number is now 31,900 persons, which is odd because just 4 months ago they were boasting of having created 14,080 jobs across 18 government ministries between April 2025 and April 2026. But watch this, in 2020, during the peak of the unemployment, we had an unemployment rate of between 5.7 to 6.7. It went from 5.4 to about 4.4, 4.9 in 2021. Then in 2023, it went down to 3.3, 3.4, and it stayed there between 2023 and 2025. However, in 2026, we are already trending at 5.4%. How is the unemployment rate today trending almost in the same ballpark as it was during a global pandemic that shut the entire world down? Make it make sense, but I also have 3 additional questions. Question number 1, ghosts don't work. And if ghosts don't work, how is it firing ghosts is now showing up on the unemployment record? Question number 2, if you all created 14,080 jobs, why is it not reflecting in the job market statistics? And question number 3, why are you always lying? For months you all ran about the place questioning where Penny got her figures from when she said over 60,000 workers were unemployed. You all said no, it was just 6,000, 7,000. Well, if you all created 14,080 jobs, shouldn't those jobs absorb the 6 or 7,000? If you all said European CPEP were full of ghosts, how the hell are those ghosts and them affecting the unemployment rate right now? What exactly was the CSO measuring? They measuring barometric pressure? You all realize that by every metric, we are worse off now than we were 3 years ago. You all realize that higher unemployment rates, less spending power, we have friction within CARICOM, we have no rights because we live under an SOE, we have a prime minister who just trip off and just say the world of shit on social media, government ministers attacking citizens on social media, racial tensions seem to be on the rise, citizens being arrested for private phone calls, others are being detained indefinitely under PDOs. What even is this timeline?
Are we any better off today? Listen to this. Listen to this.
Nevertheless, in a couple of days, I, Elmo Gills, try my very best every good day with this UNC government and I really trying on it. I went all about today looking for work. I reached by the chicken depot and all too. I went by a sawmill. I want to see if I get some garbage truck work. Years ago I used to do that work now. But nevertheless, when UNC win, everybody win. But I'm going to tell you something. And I reach in a state in my life, in a couple of days, I bring the mother for maintenance. And let me tell you something. And every day I get up in this world, I just be praying and asking the Almighty Lord every God day to answer my prayers. But the only option I have in my life is to put this shrine in a home boy, because here on I can't make this by myself. And I'm praying from now until next week is my case. I bring up the mother for maintenance. And if me get through this all year, I, Elmo Gills, will be going to using sugar factory, right? Train authorities by the pond on the left hand side. And I go and carry on train booty and I'm going to explain to these train authorities I cannot make this by myself. It's very, very hard. And I don't tell them I talk to my children already. I let them know here and all they see their father fighting and begging and pleading. And TikTok is a set of promised land and a set of fairy tale people now. Right? This TikTok is only set of fairy tale people. And the UNC government tell you something, You know how all this make me feel to do sometimes? All this UNC government make me feel to do is to go by the agriculture shop and buy a bottle of poison and drink it. That's what this UNC government making me feel to do. But I won't do it because God give life and I won't take my life. Right? But UNC, all is the worst boy. Me cussing all me disrespecting all I talking here and chairs want to run from this iron. But nevertheless, karma is real. Karma is real in the UNC government. Trust me. Hey, school opening does now, but I'm sending them with nothing. Nothing I'm sending them with. Let them, give them books, bag and uniform. Wherever they have here, I send them. I send them to school as normal. Same old books, same the uniform, same whatever they have, I send them. Because here I was saying, when UNC win, everybody win. Hey, I run out words for this government and all that.
Now, while some may say, well, yeah, they only vote for no land. I'm always concerned when children are involved, and then this man is speaking about sometimes the thought is there. I'm happy that he has some moral values or something that make him want to hold on to life. But he's speaking out, and if people, once people start to speak out like that, they're telling you how they feel, they want help. And if he's thinking about doing something to harm himself, and next time the thought come to him, he may not still have that same type of conviction that, hey, let me hold on to life. So I hope he gets the help that he needs. Because then I saw another video, and I think it's him, and I get even more concerned.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. I have 3 children, no food, and no job.
If it's the same person, because he under the TikTok, it might be the same Elmo girls. I hope that young people don't just laugh, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs, because I know there are thousands of persons who are going through that situation. They may not come out and speak about it, but we may just hear the end result of what they're going through. So people keep a lookout. Check on your family members, check on the elderly, check on the children, check on the neighbor. Whether you know they vote UNC or not right now is a human thing. Let's check on them and let's come back to community. Let us really try, especially in this time, because that's all it seems we have to hold on to. That's all they seem to hold on to. A friend of mine telling me about his daughter and her losing her job and how she's taking it. This is a professional. This is not somebody who was saying down lineman or whatever, doing her work, study, get her degrees and all that, and fired by this government. Those things are taking a toll on our young children. Anyway, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Listen to this.
Seeing people have to cry like this on the news has really make my blood boil. But before I tell you all why, watch the clip.
It's very hard for single parents, and they say no can name the CPAP and the URP, but we was working honestly, and we sure when the fortnight come, we still get a salary and have something. No, we don't have no income. No matter how small the money was, we still get something.
Listen what upsets me the most about this whole situation. CPAP structure was that you had a CPAP body. They would then give those contracts to contractors, who would then in turn hire the workers that we would see all over the place. The allegations were that there were too many ghost gangs in the operation. A ghost gang is essentially, you're supposed to have 10 workers in a gang, you have 9, the other one somewhere pulling bull or something, but drawing a salary. I wouldn't doubt that that happened somewhere within CPAP and URP. My concern is, I am not sure that the solution to that problem was to fire 10,000 people. If the contractors were the issue, because after all, they were the ones hiring these alleged ghosts, if they were the issue, then remove the contractors and bring CPAP directly under a corporation or directly under a ministry where you have direct oversight over it. I wouldn't have had an issue with that. I would think any rational thinking person would have had an issue with that. Now, I know the question you're asking, would that have worked? Is there any precedent for that? Actually, there is. Why do you think you don't hear any Tobagonians complaining when this discussion pops up? It's because CPAP and URP never ended in Tobago. Because CPAP and URP falls under the THA over there in Tobago, and they had an election coming up. And remember, the TPP is a proxy of the UNC. Had they ended CPAP and URP over in Tobago as well, they would have lost the election by proxy. They couldn't allow that. So they found a way to keep CPAP and URP in operation in Tobago. There are no allegations of ghosts over there for some reason to win an election, but they couldn't find a way to keep it running down here. Allow citizens to keep putting food on the table. Remember, they ended this program the month before school was supposed to be reopened. One of the most stressful times for parents, because they buy new uniform, new school books, new school shoes. You're under pressure, and then bam, you come and lose your job. They didn't just say, well, let me give them a month again. Now, it's almost like they're laughing at the fact.
There is no competition. It have real grass to cut.
They have so much grass to cut, yet this woman, whose job it was clearly to cut that grass, is unemployed and on TV crying. At this point, you are just clonging people. And then coming and clonging them on camera too, like, yeah, that grass to cut, but you just can't cut it. You close down the whole thing. They put the citizens under maximum pressure who are part of that. Put them under pressure, put them under pressure, put them under pressure, and then close the local government and close the general election. You're going to come with some new program to get the votes. This never had anything to do with ghost gangs. Ghosts don't cut grass, as I demonstrated to you all 3 weeks ago when I made that video that made you all around and cut the grass down by the bus terminus by the water facility. On the top, 2023, at the bottom, 2026. How did it go from clean and clear under ghosts to bushy with no ghosts? Ghost was never the problem. I just hope the people remember the pressure you all put them through for the past 2 years. That's all I hope.
The URP, but we was working honestly and we sure when the fortnight come we still get a salary and have something. Now we don't have no income. No matter how small the money was, we used to get something.
I sure you regret that vote now, eh? Yeah, I know you regret it. You don't have to admit it. I know it. As the old people used to always say, half of a loaf is better than no loaf.
Listen to this. And the thing about it is, this is opinion I'm giving. I'm seeing the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Affairs, or that is what it is. She's there with the NOPS or HOPS people, the 200 or 1,000 or whatever they would have had to replace the 10,500 CPF workers that they're saying were ghosts. And I'm trying to understand, if you said the 10,500 CPF was ghosts, then how as cutters, the Prime Minister said all that, how come all you fire 10,005, bring back 1,000 or 200, whatever people to cut the same grass that all they said PNM was only making people grass cutters? And if it was ghosts, where they're cutting the grass, meaning they wasn't doing no work, how come the place used to look so clean? Garbage used to pick up, grass cut at the side of the road. You could have see the pavement proper. You didn't have to be walking in the road because the grass touching you all in your face and all that. So who was these ghosts that was doing all that cutting that now only hire about 1,000 something to replace the 10,000? But they see the woman crying there. And then now they're working to cut grass all over Trinidad and Tobago, and they won't be able to do it because you have how much months past where grass was just going helter-skelter. And instead of a workload of 10,005, you have a workload of about 1,000 people to do the work that 10,005 was doing. It's not going to work. And then on top of that, when the people get paid, the new conversation is it's an administrative problem, putting all the blame on public officers. In order for people to get paid, releases has to come from the Ministry of Finance. So for monthly rated workers, public officers we call them, by the 15th of the month, all pay sheet, everything that's done, go up on Iris, everything, and gone down to get releases because the ministry don't have the money where they go and open a vault and still be pull out how much million to pay wages today. It has to go with all the paperwork down to Treasury and they will release the money. When that come back up now, then the ministries and them send that check or whatever you want to call it into First Citizen Bank. And when First Citizen Bank cleared, First Citizen clients who are public officers, them does get their money first. And then it released to all the other bank and them. So no matter what paperwork do up, if the money not there, nobody could get no pay. So just say it's administrative problem and make it look like if it's the public officers who is the problem, because I'm into labor, I understand when it says administrative, everybody said public officers doing the work. When it's really about releasing the money there, so that the paperwork that the public officers do will be able to go through and they get the money. But all the workers go through and they have no money, everything remains on hold. It ain't remaining on hold in the ministry. It remaining on hold because they ain't got no money, right? But the point is, you take away all those jobs, 1,000 something people working or whatever, they ain't getting pay on time, nothing. And you making these people feel so grateful that I love you. Although I starve you, don't worry. Thank you all for coming out to work. All I know, they had to borrow money from people, from friends. It was hard, but you all show up here, even if you're hungry, even if you have nothing to get your children to eat. But you all showed up here. But all they didn't get money on time, but you all showed up. But don't worry, we will make sure you get your money. And then people are so grateful, they stand up smiling. Anyway, when you're ensuing, everybody wins. All right? I'm seeing here that the Estate Police Association, they have instructed the attorneys to issue a pre-action protocol letter. Let me show you who is the head of it. Yes, EPA, they threaten the MTS, that's the National Maintenance, Training and Security Company. They issued a pre-action protocol letter to that company seeking to recover more than $82,000 in membership dues it claimed were deducted from officers' salaries but never remitted. So based on what I think he may be the president of the Estate Police Association, he is saying that dues for his members that came out the salary to pay his union have been taken out of, based on what he said, the worker's salary, but it has not come to the union. Where has the money gone? Remember, it's the same MTS that retirees, about 500 of them are marching, some are dying, waiting to get their pension, and nobody telling them anything. The same MTS. Now we're in that same MTS, according to this gentleman, money coming out of members of his union salary to go to the union, and MTS not releasing that money. And now 500 plus MTS retirees who should be enjoying the after working till 60 years old, they're still fighting for the pension, and people are dying while they're fighting for the pension, the elders. Where are we going? A PNM government could have never done that. Let me continue. If I have more, it gets better. That there is from an article in The Guardian yesterday. Is government planning to sell Hilton to a UNC financer? Remember, Hilton have some challenges. I think the workers are going to be retrenched. And now, they're going to sell Hilton. So the union are sure going to be all up in that. That's another story. So we see in here. Just give me a minute. What is this? Let's just come and cover the whole story. But what is this? The whole story, right. It says here, yesterday, my colleague, senior multimedia business reporter, Andrea Perez-Sobas, wrote the lead story of the Trinidad and Tobago for the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian under the headline, Hilton warns of September 18 exit as lease arrangement yet to be finalized. The Hilton deadline for the inclusion or the conclusion of the negotiations. I hope you all hear me because I don't know why my picture going from the whole thing. Let me see if I could put my picture on stage also. What's going on there? Director, could you just now? Yes. You just had to help me with my computer just going crazy. So, what the hell? Right. So Hilton deadline for the conclusion of the negotiation to extend the lease is important, newsworthy and consequential because the Hilton Trinidad and Tobago Conference Center has been an important part of Trinidad and Tobago's post-independence history as the country's first major hotel with an international brand. The hotel, which was completed in 1962, just before the country's independence, was for decades its premier hotel and place where most of the major conferences, meetings, and celebrations were held. Hilton Trinidad was also the place where almost all of the business people who came to Trinidad would automatically book because of its brand, standard, and location close to government offices in downtown Port of Spain, within 40 minutes of the Point Lisas and within 40 minutes of the Point Lisas industrial estate. In a real sense, Hilton Trinidad decline began when the Hyatt Regency was opened in January 2008, and it was even closer to TNT's central business district, and it had all of the services that visitors want and need. Hilton Trinidad is owned on behalf of the state by Evolving Technologies and Enterprise Development (ETEC, while Hyatt Regency Trinidad is owned on behalf of the state by the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago (UDCOT). So, although both properties are owned by the 100% state-owned companies, they are both operated by huge multinational American hotel companies. In a formal notification to the Secretary General of the Communication Workers Union, Joan O'Gare, dated August the 4th, Hilton International Trinidad wrote without a final agreement that with ETEC, it will not be able to continue employing the hotel personnel after September 18th. Under the terms of the lease, upon its expiration, ETEC is required to take over and discharge in full all obligation arising under contract of employment entered into by Hilton in respect of employees at the hotel. Accordingly, it is Hilton understanding that ETEC will assume responsibility for all team members' employment and related obligation after September 18th. And here are some questions to be asked. Questions. If ETEC is unable or unwilling to begin the management and operation of Hilton Trinidad and Tobago on September 18th, would the government be prepared to allow the iconic hotel to close on that day? 2, if the government is prepared to allow the hotel to close, will it be prepared to sell the property as is to the highest bidder? 3, if the government is prepared to sell Hilton Trinidad, would Mutilal Ramit and Sons be prepared to enter a fair, transparent, and robust competition to acquire the hotel, given the fact that the company must have bankers who are prepared to fund its construction project to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars? Is it a coincidence that First Citizen Group CEO Jason Julian announced his resignation effective August 31st and is going to work with NASDAQ listed company, NASDAQ listed company, which is not in competition with one of the local financial institutions? Would the government be prepared to allow the retrenchment of an estimated 300 workers at a time when the Central Statistical Office has reported an increase in the number of people without jobs? Is what Hilton International is requesting of the government, which has to be focused on ETEC spending the money required to undertake the necessary capital upgrade, unusual or unaffordable? What is the government's plan for the tourism sector? So people, you might see very soon iconic Hilton Hotel stop being a government-owned institution and become a private-owned institution. And based on the question asked there, is the government planning to sell Hilton to a UNC financier? Where we really going? Where we really going? Where we really going? I saw that somebody sent this to me. You all may not be able to read it, but I'm putting it there to see. It's a circular memorandum, Service Commission Department, and what it says here. Is anyone fighting this letter? Officers who currently acting administrative officer 2 and human resource officers have to relinquish their acting and assume in substantive office. So senior officers who wrote and passed the accounting assistant exam have to sit down in that office for a year and forfeit higher acting because they are not eligible despite having acted in the office years ago and have acted and earned increments in high offices. So the DPA telling persons who have reached longevity points in high acting that they have to assume duties as accounting assistants and receive that salary for a year or decline your promotion. And after you decline, you have to still sit as an accounting assistant, not to be given any higher acting pending PDA acceptance of the decline of promotion. Tell me if that making sense, and that is the circular memorandum that I hope that all public officers are in copy of, or they have a copy of, to read it and understand, because as was predicted, they're looking to send home plenty people in the public service. That's all I could say. I talk from a labor perspective. While all that is happening, Director, could you put up the Felicia for me in Chikonga line? While all that is happening, Felicia whining. Director?
Every time we jump, oh yeah, yo, every time we whine, maybe so in my body, I'm feeling it, oh oh, feeling it, sing the thing, man, everybody.
Yeah? While she in a Congo line dancing, a big smile on she face, she getting money from PSC as the president. She getting money being on a board, a state board. It is alleged she man getting money here on a state board. It is alleged she get permanent work in WASA in a higher grade. So that money there too. And she feeling it and smiling, and we feeling it out here. People losing the work, they can't get promotion. Which company taking out people's union dues and they ain't getting it. Workers marching to get a pension, they retire, but things nice. What really going? Things nice. Things nice. Things nice, and all yeah? Director, put up that video that I told you that I'll be interested in, that I'm not seeing. The one with Dr. Dolly.
Trinidad and Tobago, I want you to take a careful look at this. This is what a sitting government minister is advocating on her Facebook page. But then, to Minister Khadija Amin, advocating for something illegal to continue should be okay, because what she is actually doing is backing up her Prime Minister, who also posted an entire video on her page this morning advocating that an illegal structure continue to be built in the Tunapuna Regional Corporation.
Reports from the site say representatives of the PNM Control Corporation stopped the work. Why block a police post designed to protect families and strengthen security in Tunapuna?
No approvals were given to build the structure on lands owned by the Tunapuna Regional Corporation, and therefore what was being constructed was illegal. In the words of the Prime Minister herself, The law in Trinidad and Tobago applies to every citizen, and the government should be the main upholders of our laws.
So what Dr. Gatsby is speaking about, this 30 police posts that they're putting up around the country, they're putting up one at Etihad, Savannah, Etihad grounds. Now, years ago, the Etihad grounds used to be under the Ministry of Sports. All those grounds and things. But they changed the law where those grounds in those corporations are under the custodian of the corporation. So the Etihad grounds is under, the custodian for it is the Piarco Regional Corporation, not the Ministry of Sports. So if you're going to do anything on the grounds, the protocol and procedures, you must follow the processes as outlined by the corporation, and then consultation and XYZ. Apparently that wasn't done, and the Ministry of, is it Homeland Affairs, under the Honorable Minister Roger Alexander, they started to put up a structure up at the Savannah, and it was stopped because of procedures not being adhered to. Not only that, the minister in local government, she would have said on her page, for your information, the police posts are mobile units. They are not structures or buildings, mobile. So I don't understand if she's saying that it's not mobile, meaning it's on wheels to move. How come then they're putting up structures? Because she says not structures, she's a minister. And then she said also, so many unauthorized structures, but let's stop the one that's going on to make the region safe. I want her to throw her mind back to 2023, when then opposition leader, when she was having a say on the structure that was going up again in the Piarco Regional Corporation, Tanapuna Piarco Regional Corporation, where the deceased Injan Ishmael was putting up a guard boot, a structure, and the corporation, because he did not follow the processes, took down the building. Then, back then, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Visesa, as opposition leader, said Bamboo should have got approval first. And just a little words from it. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Visesa says a guard boot at Bamboo number 2 should be built on the foundation of the law. The future of the recently erected guard boot is on shaky ground as members of the community now seek approval from the regional corporation after it has already been built. The Tanapuna Piarco Regional Corporation recently issued a 7-day notice to demolish the structure due to the absence of the necessary approvals. The opposition leader maintains that had community members taken a different approach, the structure aimed at providing additional security would have a more solid foundation. So whether or not you are a government minister, you are a citizen, the law is for all. So if back then the Tanapuna Piarco Regional Corporation had an issue with deceased Injan Ishmael putting up a structure as a security boot without getting the proper acknowledgement or proper, you know what I mean, from the corporation, and he was given notice and all that, and he didn't still do it, whatever, and they broke it down. How come today, after we were told that it's mobile units by a minister, we are now seeing structures are being put down, and based on what the corporation has said, the chairman is Josiah, can't remember his full name, that procedures weren't followed and they stop it. That just a couple of hours ago, I would have heard that the minister and then went back and they start back the process. So let me just play this. I hope this is, let me play this before. Let me play this one before. Let me play this. So that there's one they're doing up in San Fernando. As you can see, it's not mobile, and you saw the minister's post next to it. For your information, it's mobile, not a structure, right? Apparently, the memo didn't go to her, so listen to the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security.
And persons will ask, well, if crime is going down, why are we still doing all of this? Continuity. Not because there's no persons walking in your area and thief and things, that means that you'll keep the dog tied, right? You have to keep the dogs out. So persons will know, well, you know what? We can't try that there. We can't do this here. That's what it's all about. No, it's unfortunate. I'll use those nice words, what took place in Tunapuna. But as of the next hour, work will resume in Tunapuna. No institution must come and try to stop the protection of its people. So in other words, what is the People's National Movement or the opposition trying to tell us? Every time that we bring an initiative that seems to have to be put forward in terms of crime prevention and anti-crime initiatives, they oppose. Oppose this, oppose that. You know what? Sometimes oppose needs to include Z. That's another day. Confirming 3 at this time. And 1 or 2 might take place over the weekend.
That means contracts already awarded. What's the cost of one of these?
Well, as I said before, we're not discussing that just yet. But at the end of the day, no cost is too much in protection of its people. Especially when crime has been out of control for the last 10 or more years. 10 years. And we are getting a chance now to fix it. So there's no cost attached to our life. You see? So the more we put forward, the less persons die. The less family have to grieve. And that is how we're looking at things now.
Let me play what Josiah Austin is his name. Let me play what he answers.
Today, I spoke to the media and I said I found this government to be very irresponsible, and the lack of communication and consultation is the problem that we had as a council. They were here, 2 senior government officials, the Minister of Homeland Security, the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government. They were here, they had the hecklers here. It was a whole immature showdown. But as a young chairman, I found that these 2 senior officials and the government could have been more responsible and held to the communication and consultation because the ground is vested in the corporation. Nonetheless, upon leaving, and this is how God works, upon leaving, a young man was around, just moving around, and he was just trying to speak to people, and he came up to us and he said, you know, I'm here to investigate because we heard, they didn't even liaise with this agency, he heard that there was some construction here and there are gas lines around here. So upon his investigation, we stuck around. He found out it's not somewhere around here, the gas lines are under here. The flags are now here, showing exactly where these lines are. We now, as a corporation, have no choice but to give this 5-day notice of violation. There are 5 days to comply, and I hope now this so-called responsible government will come to terms with what they fell short on and do what is necessary for the safety of the Burgesses. Right? There's to be no structure like this on top of a gas line. It must be able to be moved. So I look forward to what this so-called responsible government is going to do about this.
Lord Father, Lord Father, had this young man not come around and these chairman of the corporation, whatever, that thing could have been built and then blow up with the police officers and blow up people who gone for help, blow up people who walking past. Oh, Jesus, God is good. All the time, and we ancestors. Look at that. We know so the Honorable Minister, how he's saying he's going to start back that and the PNM trying to stop this thing and every time it's stuff for crap. But look at that. It's a good thing the corporation went and stood up because lives could have been lost. A gas line. Yeah. But I want to answer a question. Is this government and their ministers accustomed just breaking the law? I'm asking that. Look at this video. Remember?
For your own benefit, don't do it. I would assist you in having your little gathering. Well, not gathering, please. Social distancing, everybody.
I need one toilet.
There is one.
No, I don't see one right there.
You want to put one in the road, not on the fire?
Just right there.
Huh?
Yes, just right there.
I don't want you putting it.
Fine.
The same gentleman who took up the one and put it up. Not on the fire?
Just the one on the fire.
What is keeping you?
Of course. Just one on the fire.
Not on the fire, son?
Of course, the fire will smell the fire. Comments on us. The constituents of Miaro will be cut off, half of my constituency will be cut off, and Princeton constituency will be affected as well. This was raised not only by myself, this was raised by MP Pare, my colleague, that is the Member of Parliament from Miaro. This was raised December, he raised this. This was raised in January month. And I said this was raised several times in 2019, and again, they only put in temporary fixtures, wasting taxpayer money, and it's given away. No, what we got are promises. He did promise to come and pay, he did promise to come and put a wall in place, but nothing has been done to date. What was that promise? That promise was given December 2020, when they would have done the temporary works and it gave way. He did say that something would be done so that the PTSC bus would be able to pass, and as you can see what was done.
This was done in December. Yeah. How does that make you feel given that they're also promising temporary works in other landscapes in your community?
That puts me in a position to say that they are not delivering on the promises, and constituents are losing their hope. So what we are asking is that the minister deliver on the promises that he is making, that it will benefit the constituents of the Miaro.
When the Minister of Culture, she is now Michelle Benjamin, the Honorable, was instructing the police to take the tire to put a bun across the road when that's illegal. So to them like it's nothing. And as on that, to the Honorable Minister of Culture, Miss Michelle Benjamin, you are American. You was at the Emancipation celebration, proud African, when the woman mother would have spoken. And she wasn't talking about literal food, but people taking it because they're playing the fool. They want to say literal food, but we know what she meant. We know what she meant, what inspired her to go and say that, and then the booing started and all that. You, madam, you stop Best Village this year. Best Village is something that creates a lot of employment. You have Best Village officers, adjudicators, dance tutors, music tutors, drumming tutors. You have caterers, service providers, and then the impact it has on the participant, because young people are gravitating more to Best Village because there has been new dance categories added. So you have freestyle, you have interpretive, you have spiritual interpretive. So a lot of young people involved in that. The schools are also involved because there's a under 13 competition. So a lot of the primary schools were involved doing either music, whether they do calypso dance, whether they do patriotism dances, whatever it is, they were getting involved. So you've seen Best Village now, a lot of young people. You, Miss Michelle Benjamin, Minister, you deprived them of that opportunity to showcase their talent, to come together as a community, to come together as a school, to come together as a people. Indian dancers also take part. A lot of Indian groups take part. They do Indian dances because there are categories for local Indian dances, classical, folk. They also take part in the calypso dance. They take part in interpretive dance. You, Madam Michelle Benjamin, again have deprived young people the opportunity through the arts to come and get together to do something. So let's stop the sporting program. NGC are paying for no track and field. Or let's stop the primary school track and field, where from there young children get involved in the clubs, and from the clubs they could run for Trinidad. They could get scholarship. Or let's stop that. Let's stop the money for sponsored steel band, where a lot of we children, Indian children, African children, we children play band. Or let's stop the youth programs, mileage, or let's stop everything. And now you stop Best Village for young people. And I'm asking this government, why are you all punishing the people of Trinidad and Tobago? Why are you all punishing the youths of this country instead of giving opportunities? And let me read about punishment versus opportunities. Punishment uses negative consequences to stop bad behavior through pain or fear. Opportunity offers a positive chance to grow, learn, or gain through new actions. Shifting from punishment to opportunity changes how people react to mistakes and challenges. And the core difference between punishment and opportunity: punishment looks backward at a past mistake. Opportunity looks forward to future growth. Punishment triggers fear, anger, and shame. Opportunity triggers hope, motivation, and creativity. Results: punishment forces short-term compliance, like the SOE. Opportunity triggers hope, motivation, and creativity. Results: punishment forces short-term compliance, the NOOPS, instead of CPEP. Opportunity builds long-term habits and internal drive. Punishment relies on external power or threat. Opportunity relies on personal choice and freedom. Teachers' behavioral impact on punishment: it teaches people how to avoid getting caught, SOE. And it reduces risk-taking and can cause hidden resentment or helplessness. Where the woman is saying, I was working as small as the money was, I was getting something. As the man said, I can't see about my 2 daughters, my thought was to go to the agricultural store. Where the woman went with her 4 children, just what day it was to get a food card. Opportunity teaches problem solving. It turns setback into useful feedback and encourages active participation. Why are you punishing the youth of this country? The Etihad Savannah is a project, Etihad Savannah project. That project Was bring new modern 100-seater pavilion, a modern upgraded lighted system. Once you have an upgraded lighted system, the chances of crime excuse me, will be lessened. The front part of the Savannah to the eastern main road that bound to the party bus route, that area there is a smaller area for football and that kind of thing, but it's also a food court. And on that food court, it is manned by police officers are there. They have security there. So you have better lighting based on the Etihad Savannah project, and you already have the police there. If something should happen, God forbid, the police right there already. What you need a post for? A whole police post up in Tagariga. You all like to say that the Tonapuna area have a lot of crime and all that. Would it not be better to carry a police post down in those areas that you all say are so bent on crime and crime ridden and all that, so that you have a handle there and that people have support there? Than going Etihad Savannah, where there's not no unusual amount of crime or anything. There are already police officers there, and under the Etihad Savannah project, there will be upgraded lighting, as I said, a 1,000-seater pavilion, upgraded walking track, upgraded facilities for football, cricket, and track and field, management system for the operation of the facility, a new name for the facility, and a name that was touted about, and then you have the Etihad Sports and Recreation Arena. That's a name that was touted about. Consultants were told and informed residents and users that a contractor for the pavilion has been identified and mobilization work has started. You know what local government and the government told the PIACO, Tonapuna Regional Corporation? They have no money. But they found money to put up a police post in an area that there's no significant crime, in an area where the corporation already has a project called the Etihad project, where they're going to upgrade the Etihad Savannah, that automatically with the upgrading of lights and security will secure that area. But not only that, young people could come and have sporting activities. The community could continue their walking and have the picnic, have the celebration together as a community at Tagariga. Young people, why are you punishing the young people and just putting police presence all over? Well, let me continue. So my people meet a poll question today. Director, could you put it up? Because as usual, me I write it down. My people meet a poll question. Let me look for it because I ran. Do you think this government by its actions is heartless? Listen again. Do you think this government by its actions is heartless? Again, just the letter, the number 1 for yes, the number 2 for no, and 3 if you're abstaining. Don't put no spelling or no word or nothing, just 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 if you're abstaining. And the question is, do you think this government by its actions is heartless? Voting has begun. While that's going on, we play the word of the day.
Today's word is brought to you by the letter S.
Succinct, said in a clear and short way, expressing what needs to be said without unnecessary words. For example, keep your letter succinct and to the point.
Yeah, word for today is succinct. Continue with your voting. And again, the question was, do you think this government by its actions is heartless? While all that is happening, nobody likes us to speak about the performance of the opposition leader. As I continue to say, I have no concern with the political leader of the People's National Movement. That is a party issue. PNM members who are card holders, financial members who could vote, they will make their decision and whatever. That has nothing to do with me, nor am I interested. I'm interested in a bigger picture, the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago. Because the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago is not just for card-holding PNM people or who like PNM or who does support PNM. It is for all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago as a stopgard to keep the government in check, and also as somebody who is vying to be the Prime Minister. So that is why I put so much importance there. And I want to tell those who call people like me penny haters. If you all are saying that the current opposition leader is the person to lead the PNM into a general election, into local government election, because you all know she has the experience, she has, it's on merit, that she has what it takes, please tell us so that we could change our narrative and say, yes, as a member of parliament, she did this. When she was minister in the several ministries, she did this, she did that, she did this. Please don't tell us that she has been in the PNM a long time. Please do not tell us she's very sociable. Please don't tell us she's out there talking to the people. Because after talking to the people, you have to put that into action. So if the political leader, the PNM, is out there meeting PNM people and talking to PNM people, that is good. That is opposition leader to build the PNM. That is, I mean, political leader to build the PNM. I'm talking about, because people tend to conflate the two. Political leader, the PNM, roles and function is very different than opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me separate it now. Always one person, let me separate the duties. I see Dr. Nyangaspi put up all the things that the political leader is doing. The political leader has to do that. That's for PNM. She was doing that. That wasn't for Trinidad and Tobago. For Trinidad and Tobago, it's in the parliament to speak on critical bills, to hold the government in check, to come out and speak to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to tell us what policies that you will have as the leader of the, not the political leader, the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago, what policies the PNM will have to be implemented were you to become the Prime Minister. Tell us how you intend to captivate and bring young people and make them energized into wanting to get into politics. So tell us those things. Don't mix up this political leader. And it's based on that, I keep saying the opposition leader is politically weak. So instead of calling us penny haters, bring the receipts to show where she is politically strong as an opposition leader. Bring receipts to show where she's up for the job and she's willing to stand up in parliament and defend all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Do that for us now, please. Don't focus on us, because we're not talking about political leader. As a political leader, she go away. All they have her, she nice, she does meet with all they and talk, she does dance, she does run a marathon. Nice. We're talking about the bigger picture opposition leader. Yeah? So voting is over now. And the question was, do you think this government by its action is heartless? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 to abstain. I can tell you 100% agreed that this government by its action is heartless. Thank you all so much for taking part in Jenny's People Meter poll. And as I say again, my concern to all those who call me penny haters is not about the political leader. I don't want to know she's strength as a political leader. That is a PNM matter. And strength decided by the PNM and the General Council and the constituency and what that is. I'm talking about the opposition leader. of Trinidad and Tobago. And if they can understand that, then they're not serious about this country coming out under this heartless government as the people just voted. The actions heartless. Or they're not serious. Or they're more on personality. Me saying what I say. I am not vying for office. I just want the best for Trinidad and Tobago. And those who have a problem with what I'm saying, and on this live here, and they're fed up on me saying that, you all have a choice. You all have a choice. I love you all. I appreciate you all staying with me, supporting me. But if you all find what I'm saying does irritate or whatever, you all free not to watch Louis talk the thing. No problem. You will still be loved. Because I don't just focus on numbers. If I have 500 and 600, I don't focus on that. My focus is on the message and people understanding the message. And if I am wrong, I can always come and say I was wrong. So again, I'm saying, do we have the best as the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago? Because people are speaking, and it's not people I know or people who I just talk to, but people are speaking. This is a post by one called Michael Tudor. Madam Penny, sometimes I feel willingness to give you a chance, but you keep disappointing me with your weak responses and sometimes unnecessary rhetoric over and over again. You clearly lack the charisma and verbal strength that is required of a political leader. But he's talking about political leader, but I talking about opposition leader, right? So I'm using it as opposition leader. Your vocabulary is stuck on the word incompetent. Your rhetoric is also stuck asking Kamala to face the media like you. So what do you do if she doesn't? I can tell you she wouldn't listen to you, and nobody really cares about that. Please, Penny, take some classes or something. You bore me to death. You put me to sleep every time you open your mouth. And then somebody under another post that a guy was speaking about Rambos and saying everybody does want to buy talk Rambos, but bring the receipts and show that what Rambos saying is not true. And if they can't bring that, or they shut up, or something to that effect, somebody put under that. Right now, Rambos is the real opposition party all by himself. So to those who love Penny, please inform her that this is what people are saying. And those people who are speaking is people who could vote, should want to vote, or should be paying and should be encouraging to vote. I had a conversation with a young guy today. And again, you need to really talk to young people, not just in the PNM young people. Talk to young people randomly out there, and you'll be surprised to hear Madam Opposition Leader what they are saying. Because you're not going to win no election with just PNM people and whatever young people PNM have. No, you will not be able to win an election like that. The UNC start off with 18 seats. They start off with 18 and you're not saying that, so 18. Tobago seats are not guaranteed. So 18 and 2, 18, 19, 20. And if it's 41 seats, 20, you have 21 seats. And out of the 21 seats, we lose so much out of that. So we come down to 13. You see, this is data, all you're not playing with, all you're not talking these things, You all just in this Nana land, she's a nice lady and all that, and everybody who talk against she is because they don't like she. And there's a hater. Think about it. Let us register in all your brain again. The UNC show 18 seats. Kamala Basabi said we've had a campaign and she just got only 11, 12,000 votes. She had to campaign, she had to give them nothing, she had to tell nothing, Separia come out and vote. She saw that. And many others, them show. You don't have to give them nothing. Them voting. 18 seats show. That's what we just see. Tobago, 2 seats. That up in the air. So again, as I say, 18 and 2 is 20. And it's 41 seats, so we're left with 21. So 21 seat PNM. And right now, at 21, we had 13. So let me put on my hand. Just so. Let me write it on paper so I could get the maths right. So 21, take away 13, same thing. 3, I come down my fingers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8. Out of 21 PNM, 18 seats. When PNM, when UNC has show 18, PNM ain't show 18. And then show Tobago. So by 18, 19, 20. Excuse me. Just now. Let me do this thing right. 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. My math's gone wrong there. I tell you, let me understand this maths thing, you know. So, so, Pierre, hey, look, all they working out all themselves, right? UNC show 18, we show 2 in Tobago, we only had 13 now. So it means we fighting up, we lost seats that PNM usually has. So we have to try to win back that. Hold the 13 and win extra. From the 18, where UNC does win, and make sure we win Tobago too. Always show this opposition leader could do that for PNM. Just asking. So people, as I look to wrap up on this Friday, thank you again for staying locked on, tuning in. Thanks for the support. I started late because electricity went by us. So let me see if I could read some words here just now. The base getting small, yeah? Yes, Sadina, the base is getting small. We down to 13, Sadina. Sadina, we down to 13. We lost what we always had. We down to 13. The UNC had 28, 2 in Tobago. We down to 13. And all they playing games. Want to call we penny haters because we saying we want a strong PNM. All they feel all they have time to sit back on all the laurels. All they have to get young people, new voters, on the line, on the fence, who did vote UNC before. Is everybody took back guy had to come and vote for PNM to bring this home? And they have to have a leader who can make it happen. Not a political leader, opposition leader. If all they could tell me, all they're happy with the opposition leader we have right now, let me tell you, God help us. God help us. Just now, we down to 3 again. Sadina, darling, I really hope that never happens. Naya was saying, well, have a blessed night all. It's getting real old. Stay safe. It's getting real old. I don't know if she's talking about me or the talk or whatever, but whatever it is, darling, you too have a blessed night. According to Dr. Oli, she's doing her best. If somebody see you and asks you how your child doing and they say you're doing the best, what the next person will take it to mean? Are they fighting up? If a child doing good, they say doing fair, doing good, doing very well, doing excellent. You don't say doing the best. Once they say doing the best, they say, that child fighting up, boy. Yeah, so let me continue. It have people only cussing out there, but you know she not cutting it, yeah? Penny seeing everything, she ain't care, yeah? The lady needs a public speaking coach. All kind of thing, and I wish she get it, but I don't have that confidence and belief in whether she get all them things that she's going to change. When you're that age, late 60s and all that, you don't just change your personality just like that unless you're having some mental issue or something. That's who you are, and that's what it is. You can't just suddenly at 61 without training, all back in the teens decide you're going to run a marathon, a serious marathon and win. Or you're just going to jump in the sea and start to swim and that kind of thing. You have to have been training and have to have the aptitude and all that shit, right? So people, just leave you a little sight of Port of Spain or St. Anne's West.
I will cross any ocean to find it. Won't let no mountain get in the way. Hey. We come cross the water, been through the fire. Know that my heart will show me the way. Everywhere you turn, you see people smile.
That's love from Polska, not St. Anne's West. I'll always pick up my member of parliament because that's who I vote for, yeah? And you can't want me to support somebody else just like that over my member of parliament, who I just vote for, who I will talk for. I'm not his mouthpiece, as some people are suggesting, because you don't tell me what to say. I just say what I want to say and what I choose to say. Nobody don't pay me to say. I say what I want to say without no payment from nobody. I want no payment from nobody, whether the yellow side, the red side, wherever it is. Nobody can pay me to talk the truth. And as I always say, I prefer to be disliked for talking the truth than to be liked for lying. Nobody could pay me to speak the truth, and nobody can pay me to lie. So they're a really tough place with me. What you see is what I get. I am perfect. I will make mistake. I have made mistake. To make mistake is only human. However, my credibility stands and speaks for me. My character stands and speaks for me. And me and Toby, understanding you, but me and Toby. Hey, Salon Kojo, Toby. New Toby in town. People, love you all. God is great. Look at what was averted up at Etihad grounds today. You could tell me that God is not alive, the ancestors not alive. You could tell me that. You could tell me that. So people, do some self-searching, do some reflection, honest reflection. Don't study about what Gen say. Think about it to yourself and ask yourself again, after voting that you think that this government is heartless by its actions, if you really think the PNM with 13 seats, having lost so much, UNC with 18 seats short, and right now have 20, including Tobago, or 26, whatever, including Tobago. If the opposition leader with this PNM, as it is now, is any match for that UNC, that is heartless. And if you all say yes, why go tell all you? Yeah, but I will maintain what I'm saying. Unfortunately, the opposition leader is politically weak and not able with this challenge here. Maybe as the political leader of the PNM, not Trinidad and Tobago, yeah? So people, I love you all. Be safe. See you all back on Tuesday. God's when I come with something for something new. This is Girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick. Not additional, let me talk the thing. Unfiltered. Thanks all my peeps on WhatsApp and on Facebook. Love all you, love all you. Be safe.
When I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through times. I see fruits of our ambitions, figments of our imagination, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in this quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds won't fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, yes, I just wonder why. I see charity deplored, equal rights totally ignored, wisdom and ingenuity, working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Prophets everywhere gaze upon the horizon and declare that judgment will come as the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything passed by. Time is running out as we eat and drink species at the brink of being extinct, yeah. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high. Really, really high, high, high. I see consciousness abate as today we live recklessly. Money make egos inflate and thereby create a turbulent state. I see a struggle between the sexes, new hang-ups and old complexes. Now the question is, right in context, what shall be next? I've already seen this would have come divided between race, color, creed and class. And some of the things the scripture predict, how it truthfully come to pass. Soil that wouldn't bear children making children to be a part of this growing mass. And I ask, if this is progress, Lord, how long would it last? How long would it last? How long would it last? I see craziness increase, bogus priests and corrupt police. No peace, the struggle don't cease as man turn to drug, searching for relief. I see a frightened humanity, a sad and confused society, and it saddens me. How shall it be in time to come? Can this world withstand this constant misuse and abuse by the hands of man as they try to shape this world in a way to fit in with all their plans? Time is running out as we eat and drink species at the brink of being extinct, yes. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high, real high.
Yeah.